Hi, welcome back to Life Down the Road. This is Joanne, and I have caught back up with some people that I interviewed last year, Paul and Crissy, and they agreed to interview again, and we can see how the first year on the road went. And I believe that we left off last year with them driving out of the campground on their first journey for their year, and I have some questions to ask them how it went. So please stay tuned and join us. Paul and Crissy, welcome.
Hi.
Last time I talked to you, you guys left for your Life Down the Road journey, and I can't wait to ask you all about it. So I've caught back up with you at the same campground just about 1 year later.
Right.
And you guys know a whole lot more. You were downsizing last year. You had sold your house, you had bought the RV, you were trying to get your grips on going through things and even downsizing even more. And for those that missed that, I will link that at the end of this and down below so that you can get caught up on their first interview and see where they began, and now you'll see how they've matured and changed over a whole year. All right. Well, I just have to know, where did you go when you left here? What was the first thing that you did?
We headed down to Missouri to see Crissy's dad.
My dad.
We were planning on staying there for like maybe 3-4 days.
Mm-hmm.
But then that polar vortex came down, so we had to leave because we don't have a Four Seasons rig.
Right, that's right.
So we stayed there for one night, a couple days, one night. Drove down to Texas. Polar vortex came down there, chased us down.
We had hail. We had hail,
Yeah.
and we actually went to go and get refuge behind a bank.
Oh, that was smart.
Yeah, and a police officer actually went around to look at the area, and we obviously are on camera. It's a bank.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we did not get bothered, but the weather was so bad. We were in distress, and you had to seek shelter.
Oh my gosh, that had to have been frightening. You just had taken off then. Now what do you do?
Well, that's just
good.
the beginning.
Yeah, you did a good troubleshooting there. Well, good to know that. So after Texas, did you stay there? Did you head on?
We stayed a night in Texas at a RV park.
Okay.
Just one night to stop and pump and dump and refill our fresh tank and stuff.
Okay.
Then it chased us out of there, and we went to New Mexico.
Okay.
Got all the way down to Carlsbad, stayed there for a couple weeks. And at that time, my back started getting worse and worse from when I was loading and unloading, getting ready for the trip.
Sure.
But luckily, that had an indoor pool, so it was a nice place. Nothing much to do around there but recuperate, and I was trying to stay down as much as I could to hope my inflammation would go down. Polar vortex chased us down to Arizona, so we got down to Benson, Arizona. Stayed there for the month of November, and that time my back was really out, and I was completely bedridden. Got a hold of doctors in Tucson, so we went up to Tucson in December. Stayed at Cactus Country RV, really liked it there.
Good to know.
Good location, a lot of stuff to do around there. Had back surgery on the 15th of February.
Oh,
Had been bedridden all the way basically since November to then, except taking pain meds so I could drive the RV and get it from place to place. Luckily, they have great doctors in Tucson. So we had that, and a couple weeks before that, our cat of 23 years, Jezebel, passed away.
oh no. Yes, we ended it last year
Yeah.
with her being the star of the show. I'm so sorry. You have learned so much having health problems on the road and how to deal with that, and then losing a pet and how to deal with that. You have so much knowledge that you didn't have.
Yeah, a lot hit at once.
I know that they're good people on the road, and they are great veterinarians, and we had to put Jezebel to get out of her own misery, but we had fantastic
Great vets
a
down
place to take care of.
That is.
And they did it
good to know.
accordingly. We got exactly what we needed, and it's a horrible experience to have to go through, but when you do, we got very, very lucky. We had to have dental issues. We had to have every other issues. It really is something when you retire and insurance will shift and change, and then you have to go and sort it out.
So you guys really took care. You checked off a lot of boxes that you had hoped you didn't have to
I didn't
take care
have
of.
a lot of it on the list.
Yeah.
but I got them.
Two,
That's,
2 weeks after my back surgery, I had to go have dental surgery.
oh my gosh.
I had a
Yeah, that was something.
filling on my front tooth one night, just popped out. So I had to have that fixed. And while they were in there, they noticed when they were checking my other teeth around it that I was losing bone in another tooth. So they had to do a graft a couple weeks later
An
to do
implant.
that. So and then I got a crown.
He's all alien-like.
So it was like,
Wow. Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
fun.
and if you just think of it as stuff like that's going to happen in a home,
Yep.
and you just take it as it comes. I mean, when it first hits all at once like that, you're like, oh, for the love of God. But then it's just like you make a list. I got to do this on this day. I got to do that. I got to do that or that. And you just check them off and deal with it. And it's not ideal, but what else you going to do?
You made a good point. This is the stuff from everyday living, regardless if you're in sticks and bricks or if you're in an RV.
Right.
And wherever you're at, you're not exempt from any of those things that you
I
guys
learned one
dealt
thing.
with.
No matter where you go, there you are.
Thank you, Crissy. I like that. Okay, last year you were deciding to keep one car or not. You sold one, you had another one, you had it listed for sale. Last minute you decided you're gonna take it. Did you guys decide to tow it behind your RV, or did you drive it? And how did that work out?
We drive it separate. And it's just because I'm so into risk management. If I get in a wreck, I don't want to trash both vehicles. I want to have one
True.
that we can go to the hotel while the other's being fixed and vice versa.
Okay.
She drives behind me with a camera.
Okay.
I've got a camera on front, I got camera on back, so I've got an extra set of eyes behind me.
Sure.
If something happens, and let's say if I need to get over in a lane, there's a lot of traffic, she can get over first, stop traffic, let me cut in where I gotta go, and vice versa. If I need to get off somewhere, she can get in front of me and make sure it's clear up there. So it's kind of a team thing. We use walkie-talkies.
Oh wow. Okay, so you do keep in
All the
communication
Yeah.
with each other about.
I have found safety reasons why I do follow.
Okay.
Because I can see crazy weather coming around, and I can kind of divert because I can see it before he can,
Sure.
and kind of make sure we can get around a dangerous spot on the ride or yada yada. But I really like the way that we travel anymore.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I know that a lot of people do, and a lot of people actually tow theirs, and they can't imagine doing that. But I'm glad that you found your niche. So you're going to continue with that, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's less wear and tear on the RV,
Okay.
you know, because we plan on keeping it for us, God only knows how long. So I want it to really stay in good shape, and less stress on it, the longer it'll last.
So last year you said you're going to give yourselves 2 years. How does that feel this year after you've got a year under your belt?
Oh, we'll definitely be doing it longer than another year, I think.
The first year was like a 3-month period of time. I mean, I'm like, you just get back into the groove of everything. No. 1 year, no. Not gonna work.
And a lot of it was spent downtime because of my back from
Sure.
November through April.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of just surgery and recuperation.
Got to make up for lost time now, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're going to hit new spots. We've found some other campsites we want to go back to places we've been, see people we met, became friends with, stuff like that, and hit the old haunts, so to speak. But I could see me doing this until I physically can't do it.
Oh,
You know,
that
I
just
love it.
makes me feel so good to hear you say that. Last year you weren't sure. This year
yeah.
now you have a whole new vision.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when you downsized everything in your household. So let's talk a little bit about, say, clothes. How did that work out? Too many, too little?
Nightmare.
A nightmare.
I love clothes. I love all of that. Nightmare for me. I have figured out I have saved way too many for a different season that I don't use enough. I need more summer, fall. Yeah, the weather has been weird, so I'm scared of getting rid of anything until I've gone through another year.
Absolutely can
So
understand.
I'm packing it all away.
Sure.
You know, I don't want to go and rebuy again. I found one thing, if anyone does not know, if you do not have anything with pockets, when you live an RV life, you need pockets.
That's a
So-
great tip.
No, I'm not lying. You gotta have a freaking pocket all the time.
Because you're not carrying
So-
a purse around to put all your
Right.
stuff in. You're living
Right.
in and out of your RV.
You
Okay.
do. So that's a huge
Oh,
thing.
thank you for sharing that. That's really, really
Yeah,
great.
I'm still trying to find the best way to carry it with me, but I'm
Yeah.
searching.
So, Paul, what about you and your clothes and accessories?
I've got, for me, just the right amount.
Okay.
I've got enough clothes that I could go 2 weeks without doing laundry,
Okay.
you know. So, and most of mine are all summer clothes. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
I don't have the Raynaud's and circulatory issues like her, so cold weather, cool weather doesn't bother me. I'm shorts and t-shirts until it's below 30.
Year round.
Yeah, so I'm doing good. I've got more than I need, but enough that if I don't feel like doing laundry, I can go, like I say, 2 weeks without having to
Fantastic.
do it.
Something else I wanted to ask you was about your rig. Your rig is 24 feet and 11 inches, right?
Correct.
And has that worked out? Too small?
Love it.
You love it. Just
I
right?
couldn't make. I know 100% after 8 years of looking at units, and our fear on any mechanical thing that's going to come out will go wrong. And I love our unit.
Good.
It is like
Keep it
it's home.
simple. You try to do everything
It's home.
with no slide. You get better insulation. You don't have something go wrong. Don't have to worry about water as much and the weight. So we got a lot of cargo carrying capacity for a little RV.
Sure.
And there's just the upkeep and everything is real simple and real easy, and you can do it in a day, whatever you need to. Like if you have to, every few months you've got to lubricate your seals around the window, stuff like that. Check your awnings, your seals on the roof. I mean, it's so small and compact, it's like taking care of a van. And if you're going to the gas station, I don't have to worry about height, how many cars, because I can fit in everywhere and anywhere. And I'm good enough at backing up. I've driven a lot bigger things in the service. So it's no different than really driving a van for me. So I can just go anywhere I want at any time while we're on the road, and you don't have to plan ahead for having a big rig and having a tow vehicle behind you and get in and get out and you're done. You know.
Great. That is fantastic. All right. I really like hearing that because a lot of people, they're on the road 6 months and they're like, oh, I got to look for another rig, in a year for sure. Oh my gosh, this isn't working. I'm so glad to hear that.
And we're outside as much as we can be.
Sure.
You know, if it's good weather, we're outside. We're out taking a hike or we're going and exploring the area, because every place we go to, we treat it as is this a place where we might want to put down our final root
Yeah.
someday.
Sure.
So we want to check out the neighborhoods and see what everything is like and drive
Sure.
around and get out. So, if it's bad weather, you're going to be inside your RV anyway, or your house. And if it's good, you want to be outside. At least we do. So we have just enough to get by each other as we pass from the bathroom to the kitchen or to the bedroom or something, and
Sure.
no more space than we have to have.
That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Something I wanted to touch base on was last year you had the idea that when you left here you were going to be boondocking, and and you kind of geared yourself up mentally and physically for everything that you were going to do. How did that work out with boondocking? And if you didn't do any boondocking, where did you stay, and how have you adjusted?
Yes.
Yeah, originally plan was to get out in the middle of nowhere, man, where there's no lights, no people, and see the stars and look for Bigfoot and UFOs.
Yeah.
Then after a few
Romanticize.
trips down some of these roads that you have to go on through boondocking,
If you're gonna leave half of your tank on the way going
Yeah.
and visiting, coming back.
Oh my
like I
gosh.
say,
No.
I'm big on risk management,
No.
And I see why people have to replace stuff a lot of times on their RVs because they're out driving off-road. And we drove, an example, we drove one road going to up in Granby. Thought it was going to be a decent road. It started out as gravel, turned to washboard, and it was up through the mountains where $1 million homes are all over, so I figured the washboard can't last long. Well, it lasted 30 miles. So by the time we got to where we were going, our refrigerator was sticking out of the wall like 4 inches, and only one screw was holding it in. And
Oh, Lord.
so that, any slight thought I had of maybe boondocking, no, I don't want my house to be under complete earthquake, 9.8 earthquake conditions. You know, driving down the road, you get enough of that.
Hell.
But driving through that, we decided, nope, we're going to stay from campground to campground for a month at a time because it's a lot cheaper.
Sure.
A lot less wear and tear, so I expect this RV to last a lot longer than if, because I could see doing a lot of that boondocking, how you'd be lucky to get 4 years out of your rig.
That's a good point.
Unless you've got special suspension and it's made for off-road, you know, because a lot of the trailers are and stuff like that. Unless you got an Overlander or something specifically made for that, we'd have to spend a lot of money to update the transmission and not transmission, the axles and all that stuff. And it's just, I couldn't see doing it. I'd be too paranoid
I
something's
can
going to
say
break.
specifically, we had to go and have everything tightened up above because everything rattled. You heard about the microwave, right?
Yeah.
Everything else gets loosened up.
Yeah.
And you have to go and,
Like we had to replace a couple
yeah,
of the vent covers up there because they
it's
cracked.
a
It
big
was so,
deal.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
You know, you touched on, you watch YouTubers that maybe have been boondocking out, and, you know, if their rigs are set for it or not, I don't know. But you kind of romanced it, and that's what you wanted to do. But in reality, you know,
Not
when you
us.
get on the road, things are different.
Not us.
Yeah.
We're not comfortable with
Yeah.
that.
and I'm, like I say, with our health issues and backs and hips,
Probably wasn't a good idea, was it?
I didn't want to get out there and get stuck because I just, like I say, you don't realize how much stress that puts on a vehicle until you get there and you can hear your vehicle and see what happens after it's been down those roads.
So-
And that's why I think a lot of people, I mean, if you have to do it, fine. I mean, if you're handy and you can fix stuff all the time yourself. But I can see why people get stuck out there or stranded, or they have to replace a lot of stuff, because that's harsh conditions to put your house under.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And you keep referring to it your house, and it is a house.
Yeah.
And it is your home. And you're right. You're looking out for it.
Yeah.
Well,
And, you know, another thing we have loved, never thought I would, we'd love going to these resorts because you get to meet people and everybody's so friendly.
I know that.
And there's a
that
camaraderie
shocked
and
me.
you learn stuff from them. They tell you their stories. They tell you where to go. You find out so much more stuff by being around people that are doing what you're doing. You know, it's just, it's something I never anticipated, but I really love staying at the resorts.
that was kind of my question was, so you're kind of finding the type of tribes that you want to, tribe members that you want to deal with and you want to interact with.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, I
exactly.
guess so. That's the way to look at it.
We've enjoyed a lot of the 55 plus places.
That's
You
nice.
know, they've all been low key and everybody's been mellow and chilled and laid back, and it's just no drama,
right.
you know.
right.
Love that.
And we enjoy the campgrounds where they have kids because it's fun to hear kids laugh and
Sure.
play and stuff like
Oh,
that.
sure,
you
sure.
know. But we've never had, I can't say we've had a really, I can't think of a bad experience,
Oh, that's good in
you
here.
know.
Well, that's
Places I wouldn't go back, but I feel like the journey is really something.
right. It's the journey, not the destination, as people
Correct.
say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In other
I
words,
appreciate that. Yeah.
you're appreciating your life down the road.
Absolutely.
Well, Paul and Crissy, thank you so much for giving us an update. I look forward to this time next year getting another update, seeing where you guys are at, where you've been, and where you're headed.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're welcome.
you.
See you guys.